Hello. Yes, so we should start today's session. I'll share the screen. So I was talking about async and await. So before that, I'll be taking an example for promise. Doc.type HTML. Well, I have given the file extension with .js. Let me rename it to .html. Doc.type HTML. HTML head. Then you have body that shows in the browser. Then you have script to work JavaScript in the background. So I'll add a heading here. Just to promises async await. Let me run this in the console. So you already know that if I take a function ABC, inside this I'll write console.log welcome. This is a normal function. So how to display that welcome there? How do you make that console display here? I need this console to show there. How can I do that? Huh? We have to invoke the function ABC like this. Right? Now I got this welcome. Now I will pass a parameter a comma b console.log a into b. What it is showing? What do you mean by that? Now I'll pass parameter 3 and 2. Now what it is showing? 3 to the. So when you assign a variable, I'll assign a variable and I will ask return a into b. Now look, I have saved this. I will refresh here. It is not showing anything. Why? Why? It is not showing anything. I have invoked the function, right? I have not written console log, so it is not showing there. Okay. When things happens like this, right? When you have a return keyword, when you call this function, it returns something. So here I'm going to assign it to a variable where c is equal to function abc. Now here in the console, instead of invoking the function, I'll write console.log. I'll write here. Now c will become the function. C 3 comma 3. Now what is the answer you got there? So when you are using the return keyword, you can assign it to a variable. Now that variable becomes a function. Now I have written C and pass the parameter. Why I told this? Because I am going to use a return promise now. First what I'll do, I'll take a variable var result. Okay, for this result, I'm going to assign a function. I have assigned what? I have assigned a function. So when you are assigning, even if it is having no name, that's understood because the function name will be this. Just now I assigned it to C, right? ABC was assigned to C because there was a name ABC. Here, even if you don't give name, if you check result, it will show that it is a function. Console.log. If I check what result is, result, if I do like this, and if you go there, it is showing undefined. Let me complete the function. Let it be there at the bottom. So here in this function, I am going to pass a value. So for result, I need a score. So there is a score now. Now what I will do, I will ask it to return a promise. Return new promise. Promise. So I told yesterday to look it to promise. I have taken one example. X is equal to 0. Promise fulfilled. It is not. It is broken like that. So if you have practiced that, you will know what I will be doing here. So inside this, I will be using a function. Function. This is how. And inside this, so instead of fulfill and broken, we can use resolve and rejected. You can use even AB, but write the parameters always with known names. Resolve, rejected. So this will be the syntax of it. So next what I'll do, I'll write one console. Console.log. So here what I'll write calculating marks or else calculating results. Calculating results. Now can you see calculating results it is showing, but I have used a promise, it is showing pending. When it is, what do you mean by pending? Still it has time whether to break or to fulfill. I haven't given anything. Now I will give. I'll write if else condition if score greater than 50, then it resolves as passed. Resolve, you have passed. Else you already know it means rejected. Rejected. You have you have failed. Now if you go there, promise rejected, you have failed, because I have not passed any parameter there yet. So here what I will do, here in the console where I have crossed, I will write 60. What is the promise showing? What was the condition I asked here? So in function, I am going to pass a value. That value should be greater than 50. Then it resolves. Now I will write if it is not greater than 50, I will make it 40, which is not greater than 50. You have here an error. You have failed, rejected. But it is showing like an error, right? Do you remember try catch? You remember, right? Here we use only catch in promise. But when it comes to async await, there we will use try catch. So you just ignore this for now. Now I will take another function, grade. Look, this function should be closed. Outside this I have to write. Why I am giving spaces of everything in between spaces means you have to understand. This is a code block for if else. This is a promise which returns. This return is called when this function is invoked. You have to get clarified like that step by step. If I do it, if I have not written this code and if I just simply explain, it will be a little bit difficult for you, right? Now I have written step by step. You have to break into pieces, then you have to understand it step by step. Only then you will understand how function works. Now based on the grade, based on the marks, I want to calculate grade, where grade is equal to another function So inside this function, I'm going to ask to return a new promise. New promise. Look at the spaces. Here I'll write a function, and inside this function there will be resolved and rejected. Resolved, rejected. You might think that you are using same parameters, sir. Yes, because inside this function there is only one resolved and rejected. Here this is a different one. What do you call this scope? What do you call this scope? Because resolved and rejected I have used it here. Again I am using here. It won't show me error that you have already used. But if I make it as result, it will show error. It will show me error. Like while running, it will show error. But here, resolved and rejected will not show me error. Can you guess why? Which scope it is? Block scope. What I have used here, it is blocked only here. Here it is taking as a new. That is block scope. So get to know the scopes properly. So inside this, what I'll do, I'll write console.log, console.log, calculating grid. Calculating GRADS. And here I will pass one parameter a response. Here I'll use just resolve. So what I'm going to write, look, I have not set any condition here, directly I'm taking resolved. Spelling mistake should be correct. Here I have used resolve, here also it should be resolve. I'll write here you you got an A. I'll give some space, and here I will show the response what I got. The response, the parameter what I am passing here, that will show here along with you got a you got an A. Why we need to add an for A? Can anyone guess? Hmm? Hmm. You have to give and okay, yeah, that's right. You have to know these things. This is what improves your communication skills. So here I will pass in the console. RESPONCE. So the parameter passed here, it is going to show here. Now how to link these two? I'll just go there and see what's going on here. It is showing you have failed because the marks was 40 here. I will just remove this. So in promise, while you are using resolve and rejected, there is one method to use. Which method is that? Huh? Yes. No confident answers. So I'll use the first promise. So first promise is a result. So here result dot then. So I told you the difference between arrow syntax and arrow function, right? Can you not tell me the arrow syntax? Huh? So here, look there in the screen. This is the arrow syntax. When I call this function, I have used a return, right? I have used a return keyword. That what I am getting then after invoking that function, then what I am getting, that thing we call it as a response. You just here instead of response, I'll just write res, or else I can write value value. Okay, here you will get a response when this function is invoked. You will get a response. That response I'm going to write console.log response res. So what will be the answer? So this is results, right? I will make this as calculated results. Calculated results. What will be the answer? I have passed 70. The response what I'll get here? What I'll get? Huh? I have passed 70 here. Okay. When this function invokes, it will return resolve or rejected. It will resolve, right? Greater than 50. So here the response is you have passed. If you look here, look, calculated results, you have passed. First I was calculating in the promise, then I have invoked the function, I calculated, you got pass. I'll just write 80 here, not 80, 40. Now here you have failed, it is showing the rejected, but it is showing in an error. Now you have this function which is grade to calculate the grade, right? So here in the same function what I'll do, in then method I will write return grade, function inside a function, inside the result, then what I'll get the response, in returning that, in displaying in console, I am asking to return grade, and in the grade I have passed a value, right? What is that value? That value will be displayed to decide the grade. So here what I'll make, here a value, this is a parameter, argument what I'm going to pass, this res, you have passed, you got that, right? That I will be passing there. So now you have one more then, because when you invoke this grade method, it has another return new promise, right? So here you will add another then, you have to use it dot then, again arrow syntax. Here in this arrow syntax, here after calculating the grade you will get one response. So I'm going to write final result. This variable can write anything, but if you give proper names it will be easy for you. And here I'm going to write console.log. I'm going to write this final result in the console.log. So now I will make this 70, and now if you see the calculating results, calculated results is you have passed 70. Calculating grades, you got an A. This promise, what I got answer, I have passed it to grades. That grade is telling me you have passed. Okay. Look here, I have got both the promises from this then method, result and grade. In result, then I have called grade. Whatever it returns here, I have placed it here. Now I'll make this 10. Now it should show calculating results, you have failed. It is not showing properly, right? So without try, we can use catch with dot catch. And here again, ERR arrow syntax. Use arrow syntax. Directly if you write also no problem, but practice writing arrow syntax. ERR, and here I'm going to write console.log ERR. No errors now. You have failed. Without using try, I have tried, just write catch method. Catch method works only when you have used then method. So just look into this code. Everyone, you want me to zoom, I will zoom it. Just look into that. Understand how it works there. Because here what I did, I'm going to use async and await in 2 lines. So observe here properly how the function is working. You have this grade promise. First look into grade and promise what it does. I'll just remove the unnecessary spaces. Just look what these two functions are returning first. Understand it step by step. So result is a function. This function returns a promise where resolve will be when the marks is above 50. Like that you go through it. Just analyze it. Then look into grade. So who didn't understand the functions thing? Should I told to look into promise? If you have looked into it, this, like I said, this won't be a problem. Anyone having any doubts here? Can anyone guess why I was getting error? No, no, no. Here I have not used rejected. When I used 80, even there I got the error. When you work with promise, right, you have to work properly with the logic resolved and rejected. This is a basic example. If you understand this example, you can debug a promise. Everyone seen this, right? Now look at the logic what I have written here. Just look into it. The result what I get, that result, then it should be showing me what value I am getting. This is the, it is showing whether resolved or rejected. Look at the first bit. I will make it a 60. This result, calculating results, where it is coming? It is coming from here when this promise is called. Then based on this if else condition, what I get the value, that value is calculated. You have passed. Where it is coming, you have passed, it is resolved. 60 is greater than 50. And then for grade, what I did, I am passing a value. That value I am not written any if else condition. When that value passes, it should get an A. So here when it is 60, the response what I got, that is 60, have been passed to grade. The value is passed here. So here I got an A value, will return a new promise here. This new promise, resolve, rejected. When it get resolved, here when it is resolved, that value will go and solve the resolve. If it is rejected here, here you won't be getting any reject. Look here, I'll make 10. So I have written in the result rejected, right? You have failed. Here I have not given anything. Here nothing will show. It will show just you have failed. And directly reject won't work unless you add this catch method. If I comment this, it will show red in color, which is like an error. You have failed in red color. So like I said, try to break this example into 3 parts. Result function, grade function, then result grade with then, along with the catch. And now everyone got screenshots in your this thing, laptops, extension. You have no extension for laptop screenshot. Yours is there. Maybe after session I'll let you know. Now look, this might feel like little bit complex, right? Having function and all this inside the function. So instead of using this result, then method and all those things, what I'll do, I'll just comment. If I comment, nothing will be showing here because I have to call these two functions, right, to make it work. What I'll do, I'll create one function. Function calculate. This is a calculate function. So I have already told you. Now I have two functions, right? I will again assign it to a variable. I'll write const res, which will give me result function. Then I'll write const grd, which stands for grade. I'll call grade. So what I have did here, the functions grade and result, I have assigned it to a two variables. If you see, I told you about async and await, right? Async and await. Async and await is easy. Before the function, you should write async. Async function. Whenever you write async, what you are expecting, for that you have to write await. I'm expecting this result. Result is a function, right? It returns me something. I can wait for that. Await result, await grade. When you are using async, whatever you want to return, it might take time. It might not have synced. So never forget to write async when you write await, or never forget to write await when you use async. Now what I'll do, I'll write console.log. I will check res here. Here I'll pass a variable because I have to pass a variable, right? I'll pass 80. Here, this response I will pass here. This variable, the result what I got from this variable, I'll pass it here as a value. Res, and I'll check this grd. Console.log grd. And again, if I check there, nothing will show here because I have to invoke the function, right? I'll just invoke this function because both those promises functions are here, right? I'll just write here calculate. Look, the same output which you got using then method, catch method, you got same calculating results, you have passed calculating grades, you have gotten A, where 80 is greater than 50. Right? So look here, I have just used a variable, await, and call the function look here to get the same output what I did here, to get the same output here. I'll just remove async and await. Look, it will show error. Without async, you cannot use await. I will say this. Look how it is showing now. It is showing as promise, it is fulfilled. It is showing fulfilled, right? These things should not be shown there. While you are working, you know the concept, but that logic should not be viewed to the user. Now here, for example, for user it is looking right. Assume you are the users, it is looking right. As soon as I use async and await, so user doesn't need to know what is the promise, what is all these things, he doesn't need to know. Async every single time same is to async. Even if I do async, look here, it is still the same. When you use async, you have to use await. 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 Now the user got only the output. He doesn't need to know what is the promise, whether it is fulfilled or not. He doesn't need to know. He wanted a result. He got the result. And now if I fail with this, so here I handled it using catch when it was failed. Now I'll do it 10. Here the same you will get red in color. So wherever you use await, right, whole await should be in try block. Try, this is the syntax. Always remember it. Catch. So everything that await should be inside the try. This catch we can write err console.log err. Now we show fail. So this is what async and await does to your results. Which one you feel like easy? Return, then, arrow syntax and all those things, or just assigning a variable along with async and await? In React API integration, we use async await try. For every API integration, for every single function, for every single Axios, we use this. So next in React, when I'm doing API integration, you will get the idea why I use async, why I have gone for try catch. So here try catch should be same when you are using async and await. When you are using then method, even if you don't use try, that's okay. Directly you can use catch along with the dot. So this is about async and await. I said you right, async await reduces the risk of a promise. You have not used then method at all here. Just assign the variable console.log, pass the values. Look here, if you don't use async, await will show error. On any editor, it will show error because wherever there is async, there should be error. So this is about async and await. Well, this is not a very complex thing. You should know why you need async and await. It makes a promise easy. What is a promise? Promise is like having whether it is fulfilled or resolved or rejected. Why it is need to be done? Because when I send a request, whether for that request I got a response or not. Like that you have to break into parts and understand things. Only then you will remember these things. Now you understood why try catch where it came to work in a real project. This is how you will handle it. So work on this example, work on these examples. In React it will be easy going on. So practice yesterday's promise example and today's async await example along with the promise so that you will get the idea how to work with async await while you are working with React Axios API integration. So this is about your JavaScript. What left is Ajax. Even though Ajax is not needed, I will give you one example how exactly Ajax works. Okay. So that is about JavaScript. And one more thing. Yeah. Now what you guys have to do from Monday, I am going to start React. So for React, please watch the video properly. If not, while you are watching in YouTube, get to know this. Go for a new tab, Node Download for Windows. Click on Node Download for Windows. You will get the first thing with this icon. You have to see this node.js.org. You have to click on this. Then you will have this window installer, Mac OS installer, source code. Just go for Windows installer, click on Windows installer. If you see, it gets downloaded. If it, everyone can see, right? Bottom left, it gets downloaded. It will ask for one or two permissions. For both, click yes. I won't install this because I already have it. After installing, go for your taskbar, write cmd and click on it. So here to check whether node installed or not, you have to write node -v. If you do that, it will show a number of which version you have installed. If it doesn't show when you type node -v, that means you have not installed it. Okay. Right after installing it, I'll have some React global commands where you can create a React app. Just hold on first. Right after installing node, you write npx create hyphen react app. Look, a single spelling mistake here will never build a React app. npx space create hyphen react hyphen app. Everything should be in lowercase. And get to know in which directory, which folder you have. So in my C drive, in users folder, in Sarvana Krishnappa folder, I have this now. After give space and give your app name, React app name. I'm going to give my app. Then click enter. So what it will do, it will build a React app for you. Well, it's asking me create React app. Just it will ask OK to proceed. It is asking one package is missing, and it will ask whether it shall install. Click Y. Look here, it asks OK to proceed Y. I'll click Y. Then it will install it for me. If it doesn't install, let me know. Take a picture of it and send to me. By Monday, it has to be installed. It is showing this version is not getting supported, but if you see, creating a new React app in C drive uses Sarvana Krishnappa. So it is taking a little bit of time. So now I have to go for C drive. Where is the C drive? This PC. C drive users. So here it was Sarvana Krishnappa. And inside this, what is the name I have given? My app. 10/3/2023, 15/2. 1 minute back, I have created this app. You can see this, right? Ishwan, you can see this, right? So wait until it starts here. It will give you a thing here. Wait until it installs. So from Monday we will start React. Look, it is getting installed. You have to install Node first. npx space create hyphen react hyphen app space name of your folder. Everything in lowercase. Let it build. I'm going to show you some shortcuts which will be time consuming. So get to know the shortcuts too. It will show happy hack once the app is completed. You will get at the last happy hacking. Then you have to run React app. Whoever having issues in installing and creating an app by Monday, let me know. Send me a message. So usually when you create a React app, normally it takes this much of time, it's not a thing. But once you create a React app, everything you should practice in that app only. So this is the first time I am installing, so it is taking time. Even you guys are installing first time, so if it takes time, no need to worry. So it is creating a new app here. Look, installing packages, this might take a couple of minutes. Installing React, React DOM, React script, CRA template. Everything you will learn once it's completed. Are you guys are trying to install Node no only? Yeah, the it will ask for one or two permission, that's it, nothing else. Look, HTTP fetch get 200. First time it will take this much of time. After creating one or two apps, normally it will run. So you have to install Node first, then you have to give create React app. So while you are installing at home, if it is not getting installed, take a picture of it and send it in the group or to me. What error you are facing while installing it. Like normally for the first app, while you have installed Node, right, it takes usually this much of time. The NPM, it stands for Node Pack Manager. NPM means Node Pack Manager. I will open the file and show you what it will do, where the node modules will be. Yeah. So look at the screen now. You can install it later. Look at the screen now. So finally, after getting created, it will show npm start, npm run build, npm test, npm eject. We suggest that to begin with typing cd my app npm start happy hacking. Once when you see this, then your app has been built. Now you can go there and start building as you need that website. Okay. So here you have to write cd. You remember your name of your project, right? My app. Look here, it is showing my app. My app. You have to write cd. Okay. Then you have to click enter. Now if you see here, the drive folder name and you got your name. Here you write code dot. This is a shortcut to open your React folder directly in VS Code. If you click enter, it will open in VS Code directly. So instead of finding the folder, then opening VS Code will be a time consuming thing. So you can use this shortcut code dot. First you have to get into the app. Look here what I did. I'll just minimize it. You have to first you will get till here. You have to write cd name of your folder. Then you will get this arrow here. Then you have to write code space dot. If you do that, your project will be opened here. Look here. What's the name of the app I created? My app, right? You can see that here, right? So now, how to run this? It cannot be opened with live server. You have to click here terminal at the top. I have zoomed my screen. I'll just minimize it. Look here at the top, you get terminal, right? Click on the terminal, new terminal. So here, what it will do means every time you cannot go here and run. Once you do this, close your comment drop. Here, it will give a VS Code will provide you a terminal for React. Not only for React, for everything it will provide. Click on here. Now you will get the same thing. Sarvana Krishnappa, my app, my name. Here you have to write Notepad Manager npm start. Once you do this, this is how you run your React app. Once you do this, no need to run again and again. It keeps on running. So on Monday, I will tell you what this node modules, what this public, what this src, git ignore, package log JSON, package JSON, readme file, all these things. I have just created my app, right? But still it has become a folder and it has given me all these things. So on Monday, I'll start everything, what node modules means, what you can find there, what public means, what you can find there, what src means. I told you about app.js and index.js, right? That day notes, 70 to 24 points. Look here, you have index.js, app.js, and you have index.html. So all this each file I am going to explain. It is going to start. Usually it takes time. It will run. If you open here, I'll close this after installing Node. Look here, it will run now. I'll give the access for it. It will show here once it starts. Look, my app 1.0 start, React script start. Yeah, it is running now. Usually for one or two application it takes time. Once your system is compatible, right, then everything will be fast. Look, starting the development server, npm start, you have to write coming into this terminal. Look, it is going to run now. So this is how it usually starts. First it takes time to load. Once it loads, then it will be very fast. So usually whenever you build a React app, by default it will show like this. Wait, it will show a dark theme React icon, it will show. Look, this new system yesterday I have installed. Look here, compiled successfully. Webpacks. Now if you open here, look, this is by default you will get when you start. So this is where you have to build your site from here. I'll just show a small change. It is where it is coming from. It is coming from app.js. I will tell app.js, all these things I'll explain. For now, I'll just remove it and I'll just write welcome to my app. Look, inside the function, I'm writing HTML code, like I said, which I call it as JSX. I'll simply write H2, welcome to my React app. Look, now it will change. Welcome to my React app. This is where you have to add header, footer, layout, and this is where you are going to make website. No HTML files will be used here. Every file will be of .js, index.js, app.js. So again, I will explain these things, why you need to function app, why you need to change everything, node models, everything I'll explain on Monday. So by Monday, you have to build one app and have to be till here. Okay. Pause the video, go step by step, go slowly. Like watching the video for just few minutes and telling me, sir, there is an error. Watch the video completely, then if you get error, let me know. Without watching the video completely, don't tell me that you got an error, okay? So that's it about JavaScript, and this is start of React. I'll see you guys on Monday.